Welcome to the Coffee Corners show powered by the Emerging India Forum, TEIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Today's series is the emerging professional, and the theme is innovating in the lab and beyond. Conversation with a life science expert. Today's guest speaker is Phalgun Rudrapatna, partner at EY Parthenon. He is a subject expert in the life science industry with 18 years of experience and brings an experience in the field of supply chain management to manufacturing excellence, quality improvement. Phalgun has led transformative initiatives that have driven tangible results for his clients. Phalgun is also an author, penned a travelogue exploring the Ramayana Trail in Sri Lanka. So today we have a multifaceted personality with us, Phalgun. Welcome to the Coffee Corners show. Just wanted to explain to you our format. We divide into three parts. First is the professional, second, the personal, and the third is a surprise rapid fire round.
Thanks, Amir. Thank you so much for inviting and giving me this opportunity to have a cup of coffee with you and have some conversation, interesting ones as well. So
So
looking
your cup
forward
is
to it.
there?
Yeah, cup is there. Yes,
Okay, good.
perfect.
Okay, let's begin. So, Phalgun, let's start from your early days to being a partner at EY Parthenon.
So way back in 2003, I started my career, and today to what I'm doing, to what I studied, and what I started off, there's a lot of a difference, I would say. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession.
Hmm.
Back with. So after my engineering, I joined Murgappa Group in the south. Spent a lot of days in the shop floor, a lot of years, so to say. And after Murgappa Group, I was in another company called Kenamital Media in Bangalore. So with these two companies, spent close to 7 years in total. But the regular manufacturing and quality work that I was doing was getting very monotonous. Same old stuff, सुबह जाओ देखो how much of production has happened the previous day, कहाँ पे problems हुआ है, how many people have come this day. बहुत बार machine चलाया मैंने खुद खड़े होके because people were not there. That was getting monotonous and boring, you see. Every day you're doing same stuff. So that's where I did my Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, got exposed to a lot of techniques of Six Sigma, Lean, etc. and all, while we were doing some projects at Kenamital as well. That gave me an opportunity to get into consulting. In 2010, I got a breakthrough to join consulting in PwC. So I spent around 3 years in PwC. And from nowhere, I got an opportunity to work in a pharma industry at that point. So that's my initial cut into pharma. And never ever did I know that I will get into pharma as a full-time profession, working with so many clients across the distinct industry, so to say. And then again, my focus on pharma was more around manufacturing and quality, nothing to do with other areas. But I spent around 3 years in PwC, and after that, got an overseas opportunity. And for like any individual, spent around a decade in the Indian industry across different domains. You always get fascinated by getting a overseas opportunity, getting to be an expat, etc. So went to Sri Lanka for a couple of years. Uh, Very interesting stuff happened in Sri Lanka. The company that I was working in Sri Lanka, which is called Midas Safety, they had factories in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and in Sri Lanka. So that time I also visited Bangladesh and Pakistan. So a few of the Indians who have gone to Pakistan as well in that this thing, I would say. And after that, they asked me to take up a global role, which meant that I need to travel to Pakistan on a regular basis. That's when I said, boss, no, I don't want to take a chance of being an Indian and going regularly traveling to Pakistan and being scrutinized when I go back to India. Uh, I would not, and the growth was getting limited in that organization for me. So decided to come back to India. And in India, EY gave me that opening to get into pharma industry full time. And yeah, since 2016, been with EY. And in EY, I have been able to work across the value chain of pharma and get an expertise of that. So starting with manufacturing, quality, supply chain, cost reduction. I also currently lead R&D as a specialization agenda for EY within the pharma domain. So that's the end-to-end story if I had to talk till date. So in EY, I grew from joining in as a senior manager to a partner in the last 7, 8 years. So yeah, it's been an exciting journey. It's been an work intensive, lot of new problems to solve on a daily basis, new people to meet. That's more important. And typically leave out of my suitcase, travel for 5 days a week almost. Many times it's 4 to 5 cities in a week. So it's fun.
Yeah, so that's why you said, "Okay, I can't do it in person." You would have loved to do it in person. We have done with a couple of guest speakers from Ernst& Young. Recently, did with Samir Paradia from Ernst& Young at the Low Paril. Sorry, the other, the Ruby. It was interesting conversation had with Samir Paradia. In person adds a different, what do you say, aura.
Mm, mm.
Coming, getting the, what do you say, all the gadgets, everything, setting up, creating that, what do you say, mini studio setup, everything. So that is,
It is fun. See, what happens is like I'm away from home for 5 days. And
that uh, team told me just sharing those memories give
yeah,
this,
of course, that's
uh,
fun. It's a different fun
yeah,
altogether. Completely agree with you. Yeah,
yeah. So in person shooting, gifting, everything that, see, it's memories for us also and memories for you also.
absolutely.
But we'll meet,
Absolutely.
we'll meet, we'll meet.
Yeah, yeah,
That is
sure.
sure. That is sure. So let's continue.
Yeah.
Uh, so now you have developed yourself in life sciences industry.
Yeah.
Let us take up some any challenging project which comes across your mind. What were the complexities and what was your strategy to overcome those complexities?
See, uh, I cannot pinpoint or pick up one project which was super challenging or anything, but see, every product has its own challenge, own set of issues, concerns that would be there. And every project has a different set of stakeholders. The mindset is different. The client is different altogether. And even within the same client, different projects when we do, it's again different complexity, different thought process that you'll have to bring in. The point, one thing that I've always realized and looked at is no matter how challenging the project is and how difficult the project is, if there is a structured approach to the problem that you are trying to resolve, and if you're able to put in the right structure, right thought process, and right effort to achieve the end objective, automatically the challenges get minimized. Key parts: managing the stakeholders and the client people at the right time, giving them the right updates, giving them the reality as to what the project is going through, and where they need to pitch in at what appropriate timelines. These are a couple of things that I would feel are very important so that we are able to debottleneck the challenge that we are. Uh, there is no single project that I want to single out to say that this was the most challenging project. There are issues, there are concerns in every project that I would say. But if you really ask me one project, um, I would say a very recent one, which we are working, where it was a private equity investee client. And we were looking at an end-to-end business transformation wherein you need to grow the top line and the bottom line of that organization there. And you're working on across areas of value chain, starting from sales to supply chain to manufacturing to cost to R&D. So typically so we were literally managing the entire P&L. So there, with the limited resources, managing multiple skills and ensure the delivery happens at the right time with regard to the end-to-end objective, that I would say becomes a challenge because of the demand supply gap that you would have within the stuff, because there's a limited budget that you need to manage from a cost of the project perspective, and you have limited resources, and with the limited resources you need to manage the end-to-end skill. So that's a challenge that becomes a difficult one at times.
Okay, now continue, since you brought up the topic of supply chain. What role do digital technologies play in transforming SCM in the life sciences domain?
So very interesting one from a supply chain perspective I to talk about, because India, as you know, is a generics leader for the globe. So if you look at today, uh, 60-65% of the medicines available in the US is made in India. So India is one of the largest exporters of medicine to that extent. The formulations and coffee. We also do export APIs, but formulations were one of the largest ones. So the different SKUs that go into different types of medicines that are being manufactured, the different packaging that requires to that. And if you look at a completely fragmented a geography like Europe, where every country is different. So every country will require the same medicine, like for example, paracetamol, but the packaging is different because the language is required for every country is different. So the complexity increases to that extent. Today, in the scenario where you're looking at Indian organizations managing their supply chain, they've been effectively able to manage well with Excel sheets and stuff to a larger extent. I would say handful of a few organizations are into a digitized supply chain scenario, but most of the guys, around 90% of our Indian pharma industry are managing with Excel. But today, what is also happening is, considering the US market is going through a turmoil and stuff, there is huge amount of cost pressures that are coming up on the Indian companies. So for that, it is important that Indian organizations need to manage their inventory better, ensure their lead time is cut down to a larger extent. And this, for the multi-SKU scenario, this complexity becomes very difficult. So that is when digital comes into play and will help you to manage this in a better way. So there are companies who have gone into end-to-end digital, wherein right from your demand forecasting till your end fulfillment, they want to digitize everything. There are companies who say, "Nahi, I don't want to do that end-to-end. It's cumbersome. I'll only look at my material requisition planning to be digitized." Some people say only my production planning to be digitized. So there are organizations who do it in bits and pieces. There are organizations who do it an end-to-end perspective. But my philosophy or thought process when I go and talk to any client is simple to say that do not digitize for the heck of digitizing. Because if you digitize any process in the as-is condition, you are building inefficiency on your current process. So it is always important to relook at your process, redefine your process, or do a rejig or a refining of your process. Make that efficient to an extent possible. Not the best in class, but at least to an extent possible, and have a roadmap to achieve the best in class process levels. And then embark on a digitized journey so that once you have digitized, your sustenance is forever, that it will sustain in that manner. That will help you to take care of it. But there are many companies who have done a digitization without doing any changes in the process. And that to me is a stepping up for your failure directly at that point. And they have had challenges at a later stage. It is not that you don't face challenge if you revamp your process and do digital. There are challenges, but the challenges gets minimized to a large extent.
Very well explained. Now, let's talk about your experience about your Lean Six Sigma applying to manufacturing. How has experience been? You have learned Six Sigma and applying them in practicality. What was your experience, challenges, and how did you overcome?
See, pharma again being regulated, highly compliance-driven sector. There are challenges, but the boundaries that you put in or constraints that you put in and overcoming those constraints and ensuring you're still able to do, that is what Six Sigma is all about, right? Six Sigma, what does it tell us? It tells us to achieve the perfection to the maximum possible extent. And perfection with a boundary condition is always important. So the boundary condition here in pharma is more stringent than what it is in other organizations. So when you do it in pharma in a stringent environment, automatically it becomes easy for other places. Now, multiple engagements, engagement after engagement, projects after projects in manufacturing, we have been successfully been able to get 15 to 20% additional output in the same plant without adding any capital equipment to the plant. So within the same machinery that is there, the same capacity that they have, we have been able to achieve 10 to 15% or 15 to 20% of additional output. In addition to that, by the process improvements, we have been able to get around 6 to 8% reduction in the manpower costs as well. So you have a top line increase in terms of output, you have a bottom line increase in terms of number of people, so that your EBITDA can go up to that extent. Now, the only point that people have to keep in mind while doing it in pharma is that the boundary conditions of manufacturing and compliance have to be taken. Now, there is certain rules that you need to follow. There is certain pointers that you need to keep in mind and then go about it. The basic aspects around GMP, what we call as, has to be taken care. Once you are being able to look at those points and understand those points, I mean, it will be easier to implement and get more efficiencies in pharma from manufacturing.
Wonderful explained. Now let's go to another, to R&D. In your opinion, what are the key factors driving success in research and development within the pharmaceutical industry?
See, again, R&D, again, to the limited part of the R&D in India, the more main R&D that happens in India is more from a perspective of generics. So you have a patented molecule and the patent becomes off patent. You try to genericize it so that you're able to get more play in the market. The cost also reduces. Now, in India, if you look at the R&D part for the generics, the timeline today is close to anywhere between 18 to 20 months for developing a particular. Now, why is it important? Let me again take as an example of US. Now, if a patented molecule goes off patent, say for example, on 20th of April, the product is getting off patent. You are legally, if you have all the approvals, legally you have the right to launch a generic molecule on 21st of April in the US market. That's where the complexity comes in. That's where the challenge also comes in. Now, it's a hand in hand for both R&D and supply chain to work, where R&D needs to develop well in advance of time, submit the dossiers to the regulator, get the approvals, and ensure they manufacture the requisite batches for the day one launch and get into the US market in time for getting the launch happening. Now, this is the process where you need to start at least, if it is 20th April 2024, you need to start the development and thought process by 21-22. Only then you'll be able to hit the deadline of 2024. Otherwise, you're going into a phase where you will lose your market share in the particular product there in the US. So R&D needs to gear up from two perspectives and three perspectives rather, which are very important. Or let me put it across in four aspects. First one being choosing the right product for developing and so that it has the right market potential in it. So choosing the right product. Second, ensuring that you are able to meet the timeline from end-to-end perspective, what I just explained, how the timeline would look like. Third, what we call as first time, right? Getting in the accuracy in terms of your development. Fourth, doing the right cost values. If you don't have, or if you escalate the cost, you're not going to make money at the end of the day. And these are the four areas we typically touch upon and help the clients to see how we can reduce the lead time, identify the right product, how do you achieve first time right, and stuff. And many cases for multiple industries, what we have seen is that there is an opportunity to reduce the lead time by 15-20% easily and take it from there on. So that's something that we have been successfully able to do. And the second part in R&D is, again, today, there's a lot of manual work people do from a follow-up and looking at the end-to-end timeline, etc. Because it's a 2-year window, there are a lot of activities. And if you are anytime working on 15-20 molecules, you need to at any point in time look at so many molecules, and it's very difficult to track them manually. How can you digitize that? And how do you really ensure that you're able to seamlessly track all the activities and give those specific updates at the regular time for people to give that nudge, so to say, so that they're able to take it to the next level and ensure the closure of the points. So that digital tool is something that we have been able to build well, and that will give the teams an added advantage to ensure the timelines and manage the cost and everything. So that gives the end-to-end story from R&D perspective to help people reduce the timeline by around 10 to 15% or 15% plus.
Very interesting, very interesting. So now let's come to team management. What strategies do you employ to foster innovation and continuous improvement within a team and across the organization you work with?
See, me as an individual, if you look at it, I'm nothing without my team down there. And I'm running around multiple places, and the team who is there on ground are the ones who are delivering. I only give them the direction to say that you have to do it in this manner and that manner. So, see, it is important that you give the team the flexibility to operate. You give the team the freedom to look at what they need to look at, of course, with the boundary condition that needs to be there in place. And they need to have the ownership to deliver within the timelines that is typically there. And I typically follow this for most of my engagements, wherein the team is empowered to take some critical decisions as and when it is required, and ensure that they are able to manage those things within the timelines that they need. So the team needs to have very specific skills apart from the technical skills that they need to. They need to ensure that they are able to project manage that entire stuff well. They're able to manage the stakeholders well at the client side, because if they are not being given the importance at the time and also being given the updates at the regular time, I don't think so you'll make a successful project out of it. And ensure other aspects with regard to project related stuff are being taken. The team needs to get trained once on all this and give them the regular guidance as to how they need to navigate some of the technical challenges that comes in, and also help them or give them the time to learn something new that comes up in the process. Now, while you're working on a supply chain project, you're working on a cost project, the consultants who are first year, second year consultants have to be given that churning, so to say. When I say churn, if they have done a cost project, next they need to be given a manufacturing. If they've done a manufacturing, then you give them a supply chain project. By doing this, they will also get learning of various skills that they do within the same sector of pharma. And by that, they are able to understand the end-to-end value chain in a better manner. And when I say one project after one project, typically all our projects are 6 to 8 months, 9 months duration. So if they spend 9 months on a particular project, they will typically understand the nuances to a larger extent. I'll not say to the complete extent, to a larger extent. So this training of giving them multiple projects will help. In addition to that, as EY, there are multiple trainings that we support the teams with, which will be in the latest technologies, be it via Gen AI, or multiple such stuff on IoT, AI, ML, etc. We also give them exposure to that. And we also try to use a couple of these things in our engagements wherever it is required to, so that they are able to develop the understanding of that, and they also know the applicability of it as to where exactly they can apply all this. So that way, they are having something on their toes to learn new and also deliver the existing ones that is there.
Interesting tips you have shared for team management, which gets applied to all sectors, all industries. Now let's continue the conversation. What process step we follow in consulting in the life sciences sector?
Can you make it a bit more brief as to what you mean by what
What
process?
process steps do you like? How do you tailor an approach to address the unique needs of the life sciences clients who come to you
See,
for
again,
consulting?
understood. So what I told you, Amir, right earlier, that every project is unique, every
Yes.
client problem is unique, and for us, it's always the projects that we do is a universal sample size of one. So the replicability is not there to that extent. There might be certain thought processes from project to project that can be replicable, but there is no project that I have done where I have done project one, I directly use the same box and fit it in box in the second client. वो नहीं होगा. It's always different. There is an approach that we follow, which is a structured approach, wherein it's typically a design, uh, diagnose, design, and deliver. Wherein first we diagnose the problem, exactly what it is. Then we design the solution as to how it has to be and deliver that particular. That's the overall approach that we follow. Diagnose, design, and deliver. Some people from a manufacturing perspective, sometimes we call it as define, measure, analyze, improve, control, which we call as DMAC. Some people call it in a plain vanilla language. That's the overall thought process that is going always in there, where you understand your as is process, then you finalize your to be process, you identify the gaps that are there, you put in solution themes for those gaps, and try to ensure that the solutions are implemented to achieve the improvements, and then you get into the sustainable space. That's the thought process. But the way you go about it is completely tailor made from project to project, client to client. That can never be that it's the same across. So the thought process is sort of there in a way that we need to do, but that is again tailored the project to project basis.
Very true. Very true. It's triple D. I'll very much remember. Uh, Diagnose, design, and deliver. That was very wonderfully explained. Now, Phalgun, this is what do you say? You have to evolve, learn. So, how do you stay updated with the latest trend and development happening in the life sciences landscape?
Couple of things like one, learnings do come when we talk to professionals and intellects like you and various other places where we get an opportunity. We also go and talk in the public forums in many places. When we go and talk, we need to do our homework. We need to study for that. We need to get updated what it is. That's something that we do on a regular basis. There are a lot of panel discussions that we also anchor. We also participate in the panel discussions wherever in the various industry forums and stuff. So again, we need to prepare for that, etc. There is a lot of new stuff that is happening in the industry, and I closely associate with the R&D sector. I typically get to know some of the new stuff there. So then you try to understand what that is. There are a lot of startups today who are doing a wonderful work with regard to use of AI and Gen AI and ML. So when
Yes.
we are doing these work, there's a lot of interaction that happens with these startups. So your ability to pick up new stuff, understand what they have really done in that sector, gets to gets to become much more higher to what exactly it is, and you can apply it in your regular projects and stuff. We also write a lot of thought leadership articles on a regular basis. So we do we do a lot of research in terms of the newer stuff that is happening, and that is something that we put in those papers to get ourselves updated on. So knowledge updation is something that happens on a daily basis. Like I said, the biggest knowledge always comes when we look at the client problems, and every day we get to hear new problems from the client, and that itself is a big learning that we always get from that. So every conversation that I do with every individual in any client is a learning opportunity there. So that's how the it's a daily process. It's like breathing. Every day you need to do that, and every day you need to get equipped with that. That's how you. There are forums, there are arenas, but it's for the individuals to pick it up and say that this is how I'm going to do it in that.
Very true. Very true. Uh, Now, as you spoke about speaker and anchor, let's talk about your experience. You have been a speaker, anchor at a couple of events like pharma, ESG. So, how did it add value, and what was your learnings from these speaker events or topic events?
See again there, right? Wonderful, because it's always that you get to meet new people there again. You get to think of new ideas. You tend to get to learn new things that needs to be answered in those sessions and in those panels and stuff. Like in one of the very recently, I was there on one of the, I think IAMB conference or something there where I was talking on ESG. ESG doesn't come naturally to me in that, but ESG applied to pharma is something that we had to speak on. And even the students who are studying in IIM came up with multiple questions to say that how can you really put in a business case? Because ESG is something which becomes mandatory, but do we really put in a business case for that? And how do you really showcase to the management that this is the ROI that you get out of this, etc. and so on. So those are some of the thought process that you will also start thinking through. How do we really resolve this particular one? What needs to be done? While there is compliance and regulatory requirements on one hand, but the management always looks at ROI, because no management will be ready to give you any money without even looking at what is that they are going to get in the return, because the P&L should not show anything. If it's for a CSR, it's a different thing. CRSR is already something that you are bound to spend, you'll continue to spend. But outside of CSR, what is that you will do? So these are the new thought processes that you will always get to hear, and you'll always be challenged in those angles, saying that what is that you as an individual will start. That's where the consultant hat comes up for us to say that these are the various other stuff we start thinking about it.
Very true. Very true. Now let's come to your writing journey. You
Yeah,
wrote a travelogue, Ramayana Trail in Sri Lanka. So,
correct.
what got you attracted to this uh, topic, and what was the preparation? Because this is a very vast thing, and very there is a lot of preparation, a lot of things has to be put in, a lot of aspects. So how was it?
So, I since childhood, if I had to say, always very interested and learned and read a lot about Ramayana and Mahabharata. Never ever felt that it is mythology. It's always, I had always felt it is history, that this has happened. This is not myth. And that became a much more, I mean, concreted evidence for me when I was in Sri Lanka. I anyway, see, you're in a foreign country, weekends don't have nothing too much to do at home. Uh, I mean, what do? You go and roam places, see around the country what it is per se. So in that time, I we drove through almost all parts of Sri Lanka to see various places. And while there, you take some pictures, you understand what is behind it, etc. And that is what we tried to do during that time. Never ever had a thought that I will come back and write a book. When I came back to India, I think it was in 2016 or 15. I'm not very sure. 15, I guess. There was a huge event on Ramayana that was happening in Bangalore. So there, it was organized by one of my close friends. He asked that there are a lot of points being touched from a India perspective of Ramayana, but there is nothing that is being touched upon from a Sri Lanka perspective, because there's a lot of story around what happened in Sri Lanka from a Ramayana perspective, right? There's a lot of stuff around Ravana, Kumbhakarna, there's a lot of stuff around Vibhishana there, Rama, the bridge was made, they all went there, there was a huge war, etc. There's nothing that is being shown in the entire 10, 12-day festival. Do you have any stuff so that can you talk about it? Can you present some? Let me give it a thought. You've given me some time around. Let me give it a thought. And that made me prepare a multimedia presentation um, on a Jan 3rd morning, New Year, I think 2016 Jan 3rd. Yes, 2016 Jan 3rd morning. I went in to that place. The auditorium was full with more than 1,000 people in the auditorium to watch that multimedia presentation. More than 1,000 people, morning 9 o'clock on a Sunday uh, morning. And I was completely blown away seeing the number of people there, 1,000 plus people on a Sunday morning. So there are close to 50 plus places related to Ramayana and I had photographs here and there, and I picked up those photographs, put together the multimedia presentation, showed the entire stuff. Thankfully, got it done. So I got a standing ovation for that. And after that, there were multiple people coming and asking me, how do I go to these places? How do I visit there? What do I do? Etc. 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 I said, okay, let me do something. Let me document something and give it to you back. I mean, I will not be able to answer everyone. So that's when I started off thinking through that. It took me a couple of months, so to say. I think in 2017 May, I released this book. I documented and released this book. But in that journey of around 1.5 years, I had actually done multiple multimedia presentations. A lot of people started calling and saying that why don't you come and do the same presentation? Even to this date, some people do call and talk about it and ask me to do the presentation. So it's around a 1 hour I spend and talk about all the places there. So that's how the thought process started of putting it together in the form of a book. Got in touch with some people. They helped me in refining that entire stuff to bring it in the form of a writer, book, etc. So yeah, that's the journey. Never intended to write a book. Just went as a tourist to see all the places, and that finally brought me to where I was.
Yeah, it's all working on Lord Ram. He has his ways.
Yeah,
So it's very interesting. I like to go through this book. So I'll
yeah,
be send you this copy of
yeah. Sure, sure.
copy. Yeah, I'm a collector of books.
Okay, okay.
Got a
Sure,
huge library of different topic books, and
sure.
I'm an author also. Wrote 12
Oh,
ebooks on different topics. So we'll
nice.
talk about that. Continue your journey as a travel writer. What excited to picking this field?
Again, it was one of event where I I got an opportunity and things got into that stream of things to make that happen. Even to this day, I do a lot of travel. And in fact, one of the journeys that we did was we tried to do different parts of Ramayana Trail in India also. So starting with Karnataka and Andhra once, and then get into Maharashtra, then get into Madhya Pradesh, and then go on till Uttar Pradesh. We did try that, and Tamil Nadu and stuff. But we did one, and after that, not being able to do that because of the hectic travel that I have as such. So, but yeah, interesting is that travel is something I enjoy. I leave out of my suitcase, I said, and I do spend a lot of time in airports also. So travel is there, but you also need that time frame and mind share to go and look at new places and try and identify the nuances of those new places to actually put together a book and stuff. Uh, do have the thought of doing something on the India side as well, but I have not been able to do for the Ramayana Trail of India. It will happen someday, I'm sure. But that's something that have a lens towards and then thought towards to do that in that.
Interesting, interesting. So there are plans for your post-retirement.
Not sure if I should wait till then, but yeah.
Yeah, we never know something. How this project came up. So
Yeah,
he has
I know.
divine ways of
Correct.
in somewhere places wherever
Yeah.
he the Lord knows, divine knows. So my last question in this professional round, as a partner at EY Parthenon, what leadership qualities do you believe are essential for driving growth and delivering value to clients in the life science or any other sector?
So for me, prima facie, one important point always is the integrity part. So how well are you giving the right set of pointers to your clients? I mean, end of the day, consulting works on trust. And if the individual on the other side, who is my client, has to give you a project, it is basis on trust and your past experience with him or with others of doing a right project in the right timeline. So for me, prima facie, most important aspect is integrity and the relationship that you carry with the individual. These two are something which is more important. If you have the right technical expertise, that is when the client will come and call and talk to you. Otherwise, he will not come and talk. If he's talking to you, you have the right technical expertise. That is something that is taken for granted. And you have worked all these years to gain those technical expertise. The important part, reiterating it, is integrity, respect, and the faith that he has in you in terms of the delivery that you can give it, the value that you can give it to them. If you are not able to get these three, then no matter what you do, it is difficult to survive in any industry for it. That's my personal experience.
Okay. Uh, your experience must be in multiple. What advice would you give to focus on for career advancement in life sciences, according to you?
See, pharma is today far more advanced market than what it is in India. And India is a pharma leader to a larger extent. It's a matter of time. In a couple of years, we will be better off than China. There's a lot of talks around China dependency. I'll not get there, but we will certainly get better than China in terms of what we are doing at this point in time. But the point is that the individual needs to have the understanding and interest to learn pharma and do better in pharma. If if the individual has that interest and thought process and mindset, there is ample opportunities for them to do well in. So there's no breadth of opportunities. There is no stoppage of people to take it to the next level there. And who all have been working for the last 10 years. If they were a manager then, today they are a managing director in some organization. So there is always that growth that they have been able to. So there is a lot of opportunity. You just need to focus on the areas that you are working and ensure that you're able to take it forward. If individuals who are in the entering stage of their career, starting stage of their career, if they are able to technically build the expertise in those areas in a proper manner, they have a long future. Very recently, one person was asking, I'm just finishing my B Farm, M Farm, blah, blah, blah. I want to start up on my entrepreneurial journey. So how do I go about it? Simple answer from another panelist in that panel was that it's a good thought to be an entrepreneur. But if you have to be an entrepreneur in pharma, you just have to join an organization first, understand the nuances, get the experience under your backing. and then get on to become a entrepreneur. That will help you in your entrepreneurial journey. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to manage certain stuff on your own. So that's
True.
the only thought I would say, that go in your right path, think through that, understand it well, implement it in your day-to-day life. You will be able to get well.
Very true. Very true. Good advice given by you and the panelist. So, friends, now let's uh, go to the next round, personal round, and let's learn how Falgun as a person is. So, Falgun, let's go down memory lane. How was your childhood?
Born and brought up in Bangalore, so always, as I said, fascinated towards one side as on the history of India, Ramayana and Mahabharata. If I take a step back, uh, in house also there was a lot of, my grandparents used to give me a lot of thoughts around it. Just to give you, my paternal grandfather was a freedom fighter. He during the freedom struggle, he spent close to 2.5 years in jail, uh, and he was a true Gandhian during those times, and he spent a lot of time in the freedom struggle, I would say. So I got a lot of the freedom struggle related understanding, the stories from my paternal grandfather. My maternal grandfather used to give me a lot of understanding about and the nuances about Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavata, etc., and all these stuff around it. So I got the understanding of our history, the way things are spanned out, the way India has actually culminated today to what it is, without getting into all the political affairs of that, but the way the India is today and why it is so, and that part of it from my grandparents, and that I owe to them a lot. And that gave a very strong foundation for me to start thinking more about all these aspects and put that into my education as well. Not a super high student or anything, but I was a decent student right through. Not again a highly qualified or anything, but very manageable to that extent. So complete schooling, college, everything in Bangalore. For the first 7 years of my career, did work in Bangalore. Then after that itself, I started moving out of Bangalore and started traveling, doing everything around. So that's my entire childhood. I have to put it across. My parents were, again, my mother was a government servant, and my father had his trading business. Uh, that's been my life in a small house in Bangalore and enjoying the street gully cricket, so to say. Been fascinated by cricket. The other area of interest of mine, if I have to talk of, is music. I love Carnatic music a lot, and right from my young age was being asked to go into the music classes and stuff. But later on, I became a very strong connoisseur of music. So I do hear a lot of concerts. I do write about some of the concerts as well, saying that what was the opinion about the concert, what it is. So I've done diploma in Carnatic music as well. So that also gave me the thought process to think more about Carnatic music, etc. So huge fan of Carnatic music. I understand a good amount of theory of Carnatic music, but not the practical aspects to that extent. So that's been my childhood across 3, 4 different areas: cricket, music, uh, and the history / mythology part of the Indians.
Wow, interesting, interesting. So you have what do you say? Lot to share, lot to write. So how do you unwind and relax after a busy day or week from work?
So again, these 2, 3 things that really help me. Music is one for sure. So after a very hardworking day or a very tiresome day, I always want to listen to a good concert of a Kannada music from Estrella Stalwarts, and that gives me a good unwinding one. And today YouTube is pretty accessible, whichever one you want, you just go there. I do have a huge amount of collection of Carnatic music. So, and again, even if I want anything from older years, I'm very specific, choosy of some of the songs. When I'm down, I want to listen to some particular song. When I'm super excited, I want to listen to some. When I'm getting into some very important meeting, very important discussion, before that, I want to listen to some important one that can give me the booster for myself. So I am choosy on those. So depending on the situation that I am in, I hear some songs at that time so that I get into the meeting with a certain thing. So those things are something that will help me unwind myself. And yeah, cricket is something I fancy again. Watch a lot of cricket. So that also gives me some unwinding ones.
Interesting, interesting. Uh, are there any travel destination in a bucket list that you'd like to explore?
Already traveled, you're saying?
Are there any travel places in your bucket list that you like to explore now or in the future?
Um, Not very specific. As I said, there are different countries that I would want to visit and have a look at it. Like for example, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia is something that I would want to do sometime. Considering again the link that it has towards Ramayana and Mahabharata there, that's something that I want to do. Uh, the entire Ramayana trail of India is something that I want to do at some point in time. That's another one that I want to. I also want to do a Kenyan safari at some time. I don't know when, but that's something that's an interesting one that I'm looking out for, the Kenyan safari. Yeah, these are some stuff that I have it in mind, but I don't know when, but certainly it'll happen sure.
Interesting, interesting. Mm. What role do your family and friends play in supporting your different aspirations and personal growth?
Family for sure, a lot. When I went to Sri Lanka, my wife actually sacrificed her career. She was in Big Four at that point in time. She left the Big Four job, came with me along there. Now she has her own practice, settled well, but I mean, she did a lot during that time to where I am today, I would say. Otherwise, it would not have been possible because you need someone to manage the family at home, and she was there for that. Even today, when I travel a lot, 4 or 5 days a week, there needs to be someone at home, and she's the sole strength to take care of that. Take care of my son, ensure that he goes to school, everything, etc., etc., etc. She's the one. She's been a big, 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 big support. I would say. And again, without her, it would have been not possible of achieving most of the things that I have done. Um, my son today, 11-year-old, and he also is getting into that to say that why do you travel so much? Why don't you spend the time? That's always natural to be there. But yeah, that's a profession that where I need to travel and stuff. But yeah, he's also been there as a strength at many a times that I need to. My mother is no more, passed away a couple of years back. My father, again, he's there as a guiding force. He helps and gives me that strength, whatever it is. And I explain that these are the stuff. Above all this, uh, my guru, my Carnatic music guru, Kanakala Bhushan Dr. R.K. Padmanabha, who is in Bangalore. I mean, when I am in doubt, when I am in a confused state of mind, when I am not very clear as to how I need to, two things. One, I'll think what will Sir do at this point in time if he is in such a scenario. I'll think about him. And the way he would structure his mind, I'll try to think if that is the way that even I have had to. If I'm still not clear, pick up the call to him and ask, Sir, I'm in confusion. What do I do? He is one person who will guide me to say that what I can do, what I should not do. And that has really helped me over the years to actually fine tune myself. And there are many mentors I have got in life who have really helped me shape myself in my career. I mean, many of them, I cannot name one or two, but there are many of them who have really helped me to do that. So they have also helped in shaping up myself in a better.
Very true. My next question was going to be that only. Whom do you follow or get inspired from the world of life sciences from India as well as international?
So there are many people, again, even in the life science industry, who I do reach out when I am in trouble or a confused state of mind. I do reach out and ask them for some specific technical expertise to say that kya karna chahiye, how do we go about, etc. Again, multiple people, I cannot name one or two of there. It will be unfair for me to name only one or two. There are multiple people who are there and who have always been there with me to guide me. Like if I'm doing a very new solution to a client, uh, while I can go and tell the client, yes, it will be successful, but I need to do my homework on that by talking to 3, 4 people saying that, will this really work well? Is this okay? What do you think about it? And then only I'll go and start implementation of that. So there are such people who will really be helping me out on those stuff and guiding me on those angles. So I do have many people in the industry whom I can always reach out to for any help. That's
Very good, very good. So let's come to your favorite books or movies that have made a lasting impression and brought a smile on you.
many movies, must say, many movies. Um, I always cherish watching Anand, the Hindi movie. I also watch a lot of Indian war movies any day, anytime. Uh, the war movies is something I can watch again and again, again and again, multiple times. In fact, that's a debate that me and my wife have all times is that why do you see this movie again and again? You've seen this multiple times, you know all the dialogues by heart, but still you see that. Like, for example, movies like Border, Uri, Ghazi Attack, etc., etc. All these war movies are something multiple times. I can see that. Anything related to India, anything related to that, like for example, this Mars mission, Mangal movies, such movies are something I can watch again and again. So those are some stuff that gives me not a great bookish guy. I don't read too many books to that extent, but there are a lot of musicians who have actually given me a lot of what do you say understanding of how do I need to look at it. I'm fancied by a couple of musicians, if I have to say. I don't know if you have heard of the name Shamangudi Srinivas. I'm a huge fan of Shamangudi. I hear a lot of his music. Uh, Huge fan of MS Subbulakshmi Amma, MS Amma. I hear a lot of her music as well. Of course, my sir's music also I hear a lot. So there are a lot of such yesterday's musicians, today's musicians whom I look up to and I hear their music. That gives me a lot of strength, inner belief that I can do much more better. So more of a music guy than a bookish guy, I would say that.
Wow, wow. So coming to this personal round with the many more questions coming up, but due to time constraints, my last question will be describe Phalgun in one line.
Workaholic.
Okay. So now let's go to the fun round, the rapid fire round. If you answer all the questions, you will get this ebook.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee. Filter coffee.
Okay. Uh, Early morning or night person?
Early morning.
Okay. Uh, you like sweet or spicy food?
Sweets. I'm more a sweetish guy. Sweet tooth.
Okay. So your favorite cuisine?
South Indian. Any day,
Okay.
idli bata dosa.
Okay. Winter or summer?
Sorry.
Winter or summer?
I'm okay with both. I'm not so particular about it. I do enjoy summers. I do enjoy winters also. I do enjoy rainy season as well.
Okay. Uh, your favorite travel place?
Travel place. So it's been a while that I've been to this place. This place is called Sonde, in middle of Karnataka near Shimoga. Uh, that's a divine place of Saint Vadiraja Swami. So that's a place that I love a lot. Been a while since I've been there, but it's a it's a place where you don't get your mobile signal as well. So uh, you can be at peace in front of God. So I love that place.
Wow. Wow. So friends, it's a lovely conversation and you'll get this signed copy at your
Fantastic.
sent to your place.
Thank you
So
so
you
much.
go through that. It's on the simplified guide for document signer for your organization.
Sure.
Lot of research work has gone into and give your
Sure.
your inputs, your feedback. So
Sure.
friends, it was a lovely conversation which we had with Phalgun on insights on life science industry. It's triple D. Please I'll remember. And it was a lovely conversation with what do you say, a professional with different interest from music, writing, so many things. So do watch this coffee conversation episode, which will be available uploaded on YouTube on the channel. And we look forward to another guest speaker having conversation with him, understanding his journey, his subject expertise. So stay safe, enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Amir. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time. Thanks.